So the next thing I'm going to talk about cost, and the way you can find out cost is using a tool called the net price calculator. And so each school has a net price calculator, and I like to describe it like this. So if you're on an airplane, chances are the price that you paid for your flight from point A to point B is very different from the complete stranger who's sitting across from you in the aisle. Typically, no two people pay the same exact price. There are some people who pay the same price, but there are multiple price categories for that same exact flight and maybe that same exact experience, even in coach, so and the difference is people have what's called different net prices. So net price is the same. It's the same thing when it comes to schools. No two students really do pay the same thing. There are different factors that come into play, such as your family's expected family contribution, and that's the number based on your FAFSA that the federal government says that your family can pay based on your family income and savings and things like that, and the family size and all the calculations. But it's really important to calculate as you're building. Let me go back here. As you are building your list of schools and you're printing that chart comparing schools, I say just print it out and work off of it. And then, as you're looking at the program that's the right fit program, and you're clicking through, you're researching it, touring it. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment. Don't neglect the financial piece. And so what I suggest then is to use the net price calculator to determine what the net price. So schools have to disclose their net price. You can find it either on the school's website. So it's typically when you go to the college's website and you click on financial aid, or maybe under admissions, it's typically under financial aid. You'll see somewhere they'll call it, net price calculator or calculate your costs or something to that effect. If you can't find it, there's always like a little magnifying glass and a search bar on a school's website. And you can just simply type in the words net price or net price calculator and it will pop up, okay? If for some reason you cannot find it, there is a link in the course under the resource section. It's this link right here, this collegecost.ed.gov/net price, where you can search for a school's net price. Let me put that. So each one is, oh, come on. Oh, John's. Yeah, there we go. S, my bad. So each net price calculator will ask different information. Some ask for a lot, some ask for a little, but it will allow you to get an estimate. So I'm just going to make up some really general numbers, but the more you know, the easier it's going to be. So I'm just going to make up a student's name. I'm just going to make a Jane Doe. So I'll just say Jane. She's in the 11th grade. And Jane is answering the questions, okay? And no, you can link it to your College Board account. Some schools have this, some don't, but we don't want to do that. So we'll just say no in this case. So let's say I was born 2004. She's a junior. I think that would be about 2004. And Jane is single, never married. She has no children, not an orphan. So you just basically go through, parents are married. Let's say my dad was born in I'll just make it like 1970. I don't know if that's about right or not. And then I'll just pick Florida. And number of siblings. So I have 2 siblings. I have one who they're both younger than me. So let's pretend I'm the oldest. So I have a 14-year-old, and then we have a 7-year-old or whatever. All right. So I'm just going to make easy numbers from the 1090. I'm just going to say my parents' income. I'll just say $75,000. And taxes, let's say it was $5,000. And this can come off of, I'll just say 35, and then 40 from, let me see, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And then interest income, I'll just say $1,000. How much your parents have? 0 in business, 0 because no one's getting a tax credit. And I'll just put 0 to make it super simple. So the more information you have, and again, every school asks different information. Do your parents own a home? Yes. The current value. So they are probably a CSS profile school, I'm sure, and they're asking for a whole lot more information. The current value, let's say the home is worth 400,000 and we owe 250 on it. And we purchased it for, oh my gosh, let me see, we purchased it, so if we owe that much, let's say we purchased it for 270. I had to really think on this one. What year did we purchased it in 2000 and, we'll say 2013. All right, for the rest, I'm just gonna say like, no, we'll just put zeros. So, and then we don't own a farm. We don't own any other real estate. Current value assets your parents hold in your siblings' name, so nothing. So there's no 529. We don't have any dental expenses not covered, and no one's paying for private school. We all attend a public school. Oh, wait a minute, a couple of years. Amount in savings. I will just say we have like 10,000 in savings. Okay. And next. Okay. I think I said Florida, right? So now it's asking, so it asked for my parents' information, and now it's asking for me as the student, student information. I don't work. I'm a student. I had a part-time job or anything. Don't pay taxes. I'm super simple. So I'm just going to put all zeros in here for the sake of time. I have no savings. I have like no income. And then my house, I'm going to live on campus. I am a US citizen. I'm going to be a first-year student. There we go. Finally got to the calculation. So you'll see some of them ask for a lot of information. Some ask for very little. Some even, I've seen some ask for the GPA. In this case, it did not ask for the GPA, but I have seen some ask for the GPA because it's also factoring in merit aid, but this one didn't. And so based on that, so we see the cost of attendance. Cost of attendance is the total cost to attend that school is $76,000, but the net price, they're generous based on our profile here. Their net price would be about 11,000. So we could expect to pay about 11 or 12,000 a year to attend Johns Hopkins. So based on the information I provided, we would qualify for $700 in Pell Grant. The school would have an institutional grant, and we'll talk more about this in week 7, of $64,000. So that you subtract that amount from that amount. It doesn't factor in any scholarships, but it does factor in grants, which is also free money. So that's a good thing. And they're expecting the family to contribute about $8,000 and then the remaining costs. So you could get a copy in this case of the results. So again, this just gives you a kind of a ballpark. And if you know, like, okay, if this is on average what I can expect to receive, then I can either work summertime and cover the gap. We can do installment plan, or may have to borrow the difference, or I can work towards scholarships to chisel away at that 12,000. But this way you're not going into the decision blind. So calculating the net price is a really valuable tool to help you understand the generosity and kind of what it will cost you to attend that school.